There's no exact recipe for success in the cutthroat culinary industry, and growing up with Whitey Bulger as your next-door neighbor hardly seems like it would help. In fact, when Barbara Lynch was a kid living in Southie, the only thing she was stirring up was trouble, like the time she stole a bus when she was 13 years old. Through it all, Lynch, or Knuckles Lynch as the kids called her, learned to be a survivor and has since become the secret sauce behind several acclaimed restaurants in Boston, including No. 9 Park and Drink, and 2 James Beard Awards. Her new memoir, Out of Line, A Life of Playing with Fire, Barbara Lynch, a fierce Southie, joins me now. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Jim.
So did you love it when the New York Times blew that and called you a fierce Southie? Tell the truth, you loved it, right?
You know, I didn't even catch it. A Southie, I just didn't even, I've never even heard of that word before.
Do you know that the New York Times also referred to something else about South Boston as Sobo? Have you ever heard that one?
Oh, God, no. Did she really?
Totally
oh.
true. You know, the thing I don't, your book is terrific, by the way. I told you this before.
Thanks.
I don't like telling people where I had lunch the day before. You talk about sexual assault, snorting coke through a penny noodle, stealing a bus, as I said. Why'd you decide you were willing to share this kind of intimate stuff with the world?
Because there's no such thing as, I'll be as honest as I can. It's just, you're going to write it. I'm going to write it. I'm going to just say it all. And
Were you
that
nervous
way,
what people are going to think or what their reaction was going to be?
no,
You don't care.
I really didn't think about that. But I'll tell you, 20 days on the road, this last 20, 25 days, it's almost like so I relived it while I wrote it, and now I'm dealing with it, and I'm almost ready for the tour to be over. So now it's really over.
Because
I can live my
it's
life.
traumatic reliving the thing? What do you mean?
It wasn't as traumatic reliving it, but you do. It's like almost like if you're making a film and you have to act and you have to like live that person's life. It's just going back and hanging at the Quencher or hanging at, just hanging with my friends again.
Or like having Whitey Bulger as your next-door neighbor.
Yeah.
That had a pretty serious impact on your family, didn't it?
Well, I think it had a serious impact, quite frankly, in South Boston and around surrounding areas.
But you amongst them, yes?
I was one. Yeah.
Your sister in particular, right?
Yeah.
How?
Heroin and drugs.
You know, when people read this, I'm sure people know a lot about you because so much has been written about you. But I think you'd agree, when you read about you, it's not exactly you say, aha, there is a future internationally famous chef.
Right.
Had it not been, what was her name? Susan, the home?
Susan Lugozo.
Had it not been for her, would there have been a you? I mean, like this or no?
I could tell you probably not.
Why'd she have such an impact on you?
Because, so in high school, so chaotic, forced busing, right? And so I was bused to Madison Park High. It was kind of like a war zone. It was the height of forced busing. And she was like the calmest person in that school. And she just saw in me a talent that I had no idea I had. And
you didn't just take it once. Did you? Did I not recall? Didn't you take her over and over again?
Oh, I'd be in my guidance counselor's, Gelati, this school thing in me, it's not going to work. And she went to him and said, the only way this kid's going to stay in school is if she can take cooking for 4 years. And so they let me take it for 4 years.
And you did. Mm-hmm. You know, I've read a couple of different interviews that you've given since the book, and one of them said that you had never been to eaten in a restaurant before you first worked in a restaurant?
No.
Is that true? You hadn't?
True, yes.
You had never eaten in a restaurant before you went to work? Was Olive's the first? Where'd you work first restaurant?
Oh, my first restaurant was, it wasn't Olive's. It was on a boat, actually, in Martha's Vineyard.
And how weird was that? You'd never been to a restaurant?
No. And I couldn't really read because I had dyslexia and huge ADD. So, everything was backwards for me, so I did everything backwards. But no, I never went to a restaurant.
You know, speaking of interviews, one of the things, I don't know, I am laughing.
Look at my hairdo.
You talk about people like Jacques Pepin, who's on the radio the other day with us, Julia Child, and Todd English, and the expression you use is they're all really nice. And then I say to myself, I just read this book in which, if I remember correctly, Todd English dumped a plate of spaghetti on your head because your earring fell into it, threw a Coke bottle at your, I'm right about this, threw a Coke bottle at your head when you said you were quitting to go to another restaurant.
Right.
How does that qualify as nice, according to Barbara
Well, he had a
Lynch?
bit of a temper.
So it was excusable? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he had a temper. He is a nice guy. If you really know him, he does have a good heart, and he's just not a good teacher, and he wasn't a good mentor. I did learn a lot from him, but he's not the one you want to learn from in terms of being a great leader. There are things you don't want to do.
Unless you can duck really well. You know, you're in a business, you know this, you're in a business that, well, you're a mentor to a lot of young women. You're in a business that just is not very friendly to women, lead chefs, restaurateurs. Why is Boston seen to be aberrational in that regard? There are a lot of famous women who are really accomplished in the restaurant business to a much higher degree than I think elsewhere in the country. Why is that?
I think Boston, San Francisco, and New York actually have a lot of women.
But it's still tough for
women. We're
a
smaller city, but it is tough for women. It's tough for women in any job, honestly. And kitchen, yeah. But if you want something bad enough, you just go for it. And I tell young cooks now, especially young women who are still have a hard time working with men on a kitchen, I just say, oh, just verbally bring them down. Come, just say, don't touch my fish. You really went out of the house like that, and it's their problem, not yours.
Did you ever look in the mirror and say to yourself, I've won these James Beard Awards. I've won all these other national...
What about the last one? The Time 100 most influential person in the world?
Excuse me, I'm about to say... Do you ever look in the mirror and say, hello? I'm serious. Is this me? Right. Do you ever have that or no?
Yeah, I do.
You're the only chef on the top 100 influential people on the planet.
I just couldn't hear it. I just like my own little world. I like my little world.
What did it feel like? Is your head swell or no?
No. God, no. My mother kept that, keep it going.
So you can deal with all this.
You're fancy for 1 minute and then back,
Well, you're going to be fancy for longer because you sold the TV rights to this, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, nervous.
Okay.
We were just talking about Kathy Bates playing the older me.
Is that true?
Would be fun.
And who would play the younger you?
I have no idea.
I'd love to be a diner in that television show.
That'd be fun.
Barbara, your book is fabulous. Thank
thanks.
you. It's
oh
a
my
pleasure.
God, thanks for having me again.
Well,
first time, but thanks for having me.
Well, whatever. Great to see you, Barbara Lynch. You should buy the book. It's wonderful. The book, again, is Out of Line, A Life of Playing with Fire.